there's a critical question I want to ask you as a master player in this movement, and you have been involved critically in the early 2000s before when Ouattara finally took power. You were working with the United Nations. You were there in the field, and you're about it. Let's look at what I've said this over and over again, and I want you to still talk on it. And by Mbeseha will also highlight through highlight something, and that's where we're Southern Cameroon right now. What are the prospects for negotiations and dialogue? How should the people? We've asked this question many times. There have been diverse responses. How should we as a people position ourselves in strength or with weakness, like Chris Arnold that has nothing now apart from his radio or his TV? How should we continue to put ourselves so that in any eventuality we're getting on the dialogue and negotiation table with strength, not just getting there to talk as a people of weakness that will be intimidated and bullied? How do we, because negotiation begins when a person, you see there was on the table for any negotiation week. That's why people are keeping nuclear power. What should Ambazonia do? The people of Saudi Cameroons, how should they position themselves to make sure that they are getting on the table for negotiation as parties or stakeholders in this conflict? Please talk to us.
Well, I think there's a lot. Let me start from the last. What should we do? Then I go to other issues. What we should do is what we're already doing. We remember, for those who do not know, under this government, President Sako has created something we call Dialogue and Negotiation Commission, which coincidentally I happen to hate it. But Sansok is part of it. And so, what is our role? Our role is to prepare Ambazonians for the eventual negotiations and dialogue, hoping that they will come. When they come, they are going to meet the competent people. One, they are going to meet the people with the technical know-how, the strategy on what to do and how to do it. That's the role of the Dialogue and Negotiation Commission that I hate. I don't need to divulge everything here. But we're already doing it. If Mr. Anu thought that he had some good ideas, you should bring it there because that dialogue and negotiation committee is made up of all Ambazonians who are capable and willing to join. If you have good ideas, it's welcome there. And any other Ambazonian who has good ideas on what to do at the appropriate time, the doors are open. Give me a call. We'll get your ideas there. And so that's how we're preparing. We've been doing it for quite some time. We're continuing to do it. And we'll do it until the day comes when we come to sit on the same table with them. But back to Anu. Anu, I've said, just wants to look relevant. Anu just handed over to Dr. Epa. We don't know whether he plays any role in the government of EPA. At least EPA has not said so. And so his utterances are just of self-importance. And he's achieving it because right now we're spending hours talking about him. We're spending hours on time talking about him. But it's Anu alone in this idea of trying to be relevant when they are not necessary. He's not alone. I don't blame Eric Chinje. They are federalists and they have made their point clear. So be it. I don't have any time to quarrel with them or me for. But the bottom line is you cannot be a federalist and at the same time an independentist. You cannot be fighting for the independence of Ambazonia and at the same time you are a federalist. Or at the same time you are a unionist. No, we are making that big error. And there are clear examples. After Anu's story, Capo Daniel, that we know very, very well. Capo Daniel has been a part of the ADF. He was in Canada negotiating for the team. He has formed his own group called PRAC. After that document from Anu, Capo Daniel ran a whole show congratulating Anu that at last he has said what he wanted. Because according to Capo Daniel, from the failure of the Canadian talks, he had agreed that they should abandon the idea of independence for now and do what Cameroon wants. That's Capo Daniel. I saw it on his video, on his audio, on his program. And so he welcomes him there. But they say alone, that's why I said there are many of them who don't know what they're doing, or they know they're just being vicious. I saw not too long ago Milanata in South Africa. He too has created a group. And what does he say in his own words? There are three groups in this Ambazonian struggle: Unionists, who are small, Federalists, who are small, and Independentists, who, in his own words, are in the large majority. But in spite of recognizing that independentists are in the large majority, Milanata is still in South Africa, trying to form a group that will bring in the Federalists, it will bring in the Unionists to take a position for the Anglophone to go to the negotiation table. If United Adam knows that the independentists are the large majority, what is the essence of creating another group to bring in the Federalists who are in the minority, to bring in the Unionists who are in the minority? So these are people who are actually
So,
not know what they are doing. Or let me finish, please.
yeah,
Or they know what they are doing and they are being
please.
directly vicious. And so again, I said, Anu is not alone. Does Milan believe that this thing can work? What he's trying to call there, I don't know how to call that is good. Does he believe it can work? Certainly not. Because he's not an independentist. He's bringing confusion to this. Does Capo Daniel believe? Or does he still stand for independence? No. According to him, they went to Canada and failed, and they've been fighting for so long. He was in the SDF, he says. He was the ambassador of Sisiku, he says. And now he has abandoned the struggle. He wants us to join Prague to abandon independence for now. Are these people that we should talk with? Certainly not, because their own goals are different. Should we go talk to Eric Chie? No. Since when did the Democrats and Republicans in terms of America go into one room to make campaign strategy? Their goals are different. They cannot join a campaign strategy. Since when did the SDF, for example, and the CPDM coalesce together to campaign for elections in Cameroon? There are two different parties. You don't go to your opponent's camp. Strategize where you are and leave the others alone. But Anu, again, back to him. You just want to be relevant because even though we're talking here, occupying time, Yaoundé will say nothing about it. The newspaper does not coin those things for nothing. He coins a leader. He coins breakthrough to see what we will say. This is tactically, strategically done by Yaoundé. Yaoundé says nothing. But as we just said a few minutes ago, this social media is dangerous. They are following us. They are following him. Let us remain focused. As far as Andrew is concerned, he doesn't even know what he's doing. Even if he knows what he's doing, he has abandoned the struggle for independence. That is his freedom. But his paper, again, is tactically so unnecessary, tactically stupid, strategically nonsense for any negotiation that you want to do. No negotiators do that. And if you do that, that's a recipe for failure. Over to you.
That's an amazing one there by Stambasia. You realize that you have said it right. Those who are watching us could really get some of the things you said. Cameroon is strategically knowing that this movement, led by the president of Ambazonia, Dr. Samuel Ikobesako, is unwavering, but we can dilute it. We can divide to conquer them. We can use those who are purporting to be their brothers to infiltrate their ranks. Proxy television, like Chris Arnold's television. Let's use an organization, unionists, federalists, special statutionists, so that if they are all in a war, crush it down because of a mixed multitude. So way Ambazonia will stand for negotiation with strength is to be vigilant and colors. Or by the time they are calling by the time they are infiltrating us, they're actually putting on the Ambazonian flag. That's how they do to infiltrate our ranks. Because, for instance, when I look at the reports of Mimi Mefo and for Hansing today by Stafu, honestly, I cannot understand how is it possible that kind of reports they are writing about Ambazonia. The two of them were in with me in the communications department with Solomon Amabo in the communications department with Chris Arnold. I'm saying this on TV. Mimi Mefo was the first person we were planning to use as news anchor when I introduced the news in the newsroom. At the time with SCBC, we wanted to use Mimi Mefo as the first news anchor. When Chris Arnold wanted to start a radio, Mimi Mefo was going to be the first person. In fact, if I still have access to my old phone, I can show the chat where she was going to be one of those in that radio. At the time, she was planning her escape from Cameroon. I think she had already escaped. So, how did it happen that we are where we are today? Is appalling. But the long and the short story is, like Mbeseha has rightfully said, it is Cameroon not willing to come on the table with a contending opposite side. So they are looking at every available means to weaken our formidable force. They are happy when we are constituted as a government. They want us to be as certain groups. Cameroon is more comfortable to rush to Canada with certain individuals for some Canadian talks. They don't want to stand and talk with an Ambazonia that has restored its dignity and its institution. Barrister Fru, please.
Paddy, before I say something, let me let you in on something that is happening in Bamenda. La République de Cameroon is building roads in Bamenda. How do you make of that?
Yeah.
That that
Yeah.
that to me, that to me is very suspicious. I know that they started building recently. They started another one because the Pope is going to land first in Bamenda. But that is not the reason for building that road. Even before they talked about the Pope coming, they started building the roads in Bamenda. Now, for us to continue to play the role that we're playing now and play it even harder, we must increase firepower on the ground so that when we're getting on that table, we're getting on that table from the position of strength. Way and beyond the commission that we're working on now, the most important thing now is to increase the power on the ground, just like we were in 2021. And we plan to do that. La Republic is looking for a soft landing so that when they get to the negotiation table, you see, while the rest of the country is crying because there are no roads, even in Yaoundé. Yaoundé is dilapidated, Douala is dilapidated. This government has built roads in Bamenda. If that's not the reason, why would they go and take a loan to build the roads in Bamenda? And why now? Bamenda has what do they call him? Mancho BBC is in jail because of the roads in Bamenda town. He is not in jail because of this struggle, because he denounced the roads in Bamenda town. Now, they are looking for every means because they have realized that this government is formidable. They cannot break through. They can't do anything. So they must do things that will weaken the negotiating strength of this government. It's not going to work because we're determined. Barrister Mbeseha is leading a very important commission that is training and informing our people on the negotiating process. Where and beyond that, we are going to increase firepower on the ground because La Republic is looking for soft landing, which they cannot have. Do you know how many times La Republic has made trips to America to try to meet Dr. Sako? We will not avail Dr. Sako to them to meet. Dr. Sako is himself not willing to see anybody or smell anybody from La Republic of Cameroon coming to say anything here.
He's not interested.
No. He's not interested. He doesn't even want to hear anybody talk about. He doesn't want to talk to anybody. You want to talk to us? Go to the get us and come to the negotiating table. Like he used to say in those days of the Swiss stuff. You want to talk to us? Talk to the Swiss. Then you will talk to us. Now, what they are so blocked that they have now decided to do things for the southern Cameroons that will show the world that they are doing something, that is part of they are developing that part of the country. They are doing it when? During war. A war that who started? They started. And what are the root causes of the war? They will hear the root causes on the table. They know the root causes, but they want to hear it on the table. And Barrister Mbeseha is preparing, is leading a commission that will tell them the root causes of this war. So La Republic is blocked, buddy. They have no way to go. And to answer your question,
end this program.
No, let me finish. To answer your question, this von Hansen and Memi Mefo is the person who brought me to start what I was doing on the home front. I got my first political exposure on the Kinox through Memi Mefo. Not because of this struggle, but because of the Ezeka crash. The train crash in Ezeka, where I had a team of lawyers working with me for the victims of that crash. She got me on television, and through that I came in with the struggle. So she was a partner, a very committed partner to me. And when she was detained in jail, I worked 24/7 to get lawyers to work and have her out. And what is she now? Something different. She found her country. But that's notwithstanding. I cannot blame her. She's a La Republic citizen. I cannot blame Eric Chije. He's a La Republic citizen. But what is Hans von Hansen, Chris Anu, and others doing as they call themselves Anglophones? What are they doing? Chris Anu, as I said before, Paddy, if you watch the social media, you will see his television is on Churuma. He's meeting, I don't know how many shows he has done with Eric Chenje on Churuma. Who is Churuma? A La Republic presidential candidate. What has that got to do with us? Like I said, let them leave us alone. Let them leave us alone.